You know, man, it seems like the last few years, especially, and if you've been around the community in any amount of time, especially within the last 2 to 3 years, I feel like you've probably heard somebody utter the phrase or something to the nature of we are living in the golden era or the golden age of wrestling action figures. I've said it on the channel before, I've said it many times, and I'll say it again, that, you know, covering this phrase specifically, I think that people uttering it over the last 2-3 years, I think that they are 100% correct. I think you have been hitting the nail on the head. If you look across all the different independent companies making wrestling action figures, the wide range of characters we're getting, the wide range of companies, it seems like there's a little bit for anybody out there, man. I don't care what kind of wrestling figure you enjoy. There's probably something on the market right now that kind of tickles your fancy or is the taste or the flavor that you like. And the reason that I want to get on here and talk about it, man, is because I think now it reigns true more than ever, and I have been absolutely exhausted after the last week or so of covering the figures and everything like that, and we haven't even gotten everything through, but as you know, we were out there in San Diego for Comic-Con and everything like that. We got to see everything in person, and Mattel absolutely crushed it. They blew everyone away. They blew everything out of the water, man. It was an absolute incredible reveal, and today we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I just want to get into it with you and just truly show you exactly what I'm talking about and why I do believe it was the greatest reveal that they've ever done between WWE and Mattel. But, I mean, they have absolutely stepped up their game, and we already talked about this before, but I think adding magic to the team, the Mattel design team, really just took it to a whole brand new level that we didn't even think was possible. And I think that, you know, we touched on it in our interview with Steve. If you guys missed our interview with Steve Ozer, Action Figure Attack, just the other day, definitely go check that interview out. It's always a blast to hang out and ask questions and get some insight on some different things, man. But I have a list of things here that I want to run down, and maybe these are things that you didn't notice beforehand, but this is why I think that we are about to enter into a whole nother level that we didn't even think was possible when it comes to WWE and Mattel and the wrestling action figure game. It's about to get even more insane, man, and it's just such a breath of fresh air into the line because it seemed like things had kind of been the same for a while. You know, the same molds, the same torsos, the same characters, and I even remember hearing a lot of people, that was kind of one of their critiques of the line was, I mean, dude, we're just getting the same characters. It's just a repainted Roman. It's just this, it's just that. But I think we have, again, entered into a new deal here, which I'll get into, but I just want to cover some points here. First of all, the amount of first time in the lines / returns / gears that we have been waiting on forever, for many, many years. There's a tons of people out there that have been waiting on some of these things, and Mattel did it, man. I mean, you could go off right off the rip, just get into it. Jesse Ventura, been waiting on a Jesse Ventura figure for so many years from Mattel, and I know he signed a Legends deal months ago or a year ago, whenever the hell it was, and we pretty much knew that we were going to be getting Jesse Ventura action figures, but they did not disappoint us, man. They dropped so many. I think there's 5 or 6 or something like that revealed in total when you cover Ultimates, Elites, Retro, the new LJNs. There's so many different figures there for Jesse Ventura. Another one, and I know this was revealed at Mania, but it still remains true, Mr. Fuji finally getting in the line. We finally got a Coco Beware, for the love of God. That has been on the list for so many years for different people. I know she's a new character and we knew we'd be getting her, but she's still the first time in the line. Stephanie Vaquer, another one, first time in the line. Steve Blackman. Holy smokes, man. I could do a whole video essay on the Steve Blackman. We waited on Steve Blackman for so damn long, man. That's another just massive name that they finally checked off the list. You talk about returns to the line, King Kong Bundy, man. King Kong Bundy finally coming back and getting his own figure here. In Ultimate Edition, no less, and pairing it with a Jesse Ventura Coliseum collection. I know collectors have to be excited about that. The last time we got him was years and years and years ago. I want to say it was 2010, and it was way back, I think it was a Matty Collector exclusive or something like that in the Legends line there, and we finally got him back in the line, and it's going to be an Ultimate with a bunch of new tooling and new bells and whistles right there. Another one that returned back to the line is Demolition's Crush, and not only are you getting one version of the character, you're getting multiple versions of the character, which is very cool. Another first time on the line, Charles Robinson as a Build-A-Figure. Referee Charles Robinson. Not only that, you could take that head sculpt and put it on your other referee Build-A-Figure. Maybe you can put that on the John Cone or something like that if you want to do that. Another guy that has been waiting on a figure for years upon years. Not to mention an updated Corey Graves. finally returning to the line. You're getting a Sam Roberts figure. We're getting Ray Phoenix in the defining moments along with Ricky Starks. Those are 2 first-time-in-the-line figures. And then a gear that we waited years upon, man, is the Money in the Bank Rob Van Dam from WrestleMania 22. Another one that was just on the list forever, man. I mean, crazy deep pulls here that we have been waiting on for a very long time, and they finally got around to it with this reveal. And you pair that together with the unique sculpts / new molds and innovations that we saw. And some of this stuff, I'm not even covering everything. I probably left out some first-time lines or some people or some notable things that probably should have been mentioned in that last little segment of this video. But when you get into the unique sculpts, man, Roman Reigns' torso and CM Punk's torso coming on these new top picks figures. And I gotta give a huge shout out. This isn't really something we touched on too much, but before we get into those torsos, let's talk about the new packaging. We've been begging for new packaging, and we kind of figured that it was coming, but I think they knocked it out of the park with this new packaging. I love the new Elite packaging much more than the old packaging. Doesn't look like there is something missing from the box. It doesn't look incomplete. It doesn't look like a loading screen that only made it 3/4 of the way through. You can actually see the full figure there. You have bright colors and everything, and I know it's going to kind of depend on the feel of the box in hand. Is it kind of a wimpy or not a very structurally sound box? I understand that's going to be a concern of many people too. It's not just about the aesthetic of the box. I know that it's about how it feels in hand, or if it's going to be very easy to crush it or bend it or break it. I understand that as well, but it's, at least the aesthetic of the box looks way better. But that is coming very soon as well, and that was something that I'd love to see. But getting into these torsos, man, Roman Reigns' torso, for years and years, they kept giving this man the damn Ultimate Warrior Elite torso, the Batista Elite torso, the Elite 3 John Cena style torso, and they finally sculpted this man a brand new torso that looks way better. It looks a lot better aesthetically. I think that it captures Roman's essence and everything like that. Not even mentioning the head sculpts that are coming in this deal, but the Roman Reigns torso upgrade is massive, man. That torso has been around for so many years, and I'm glad that we can finally get rid of it when it comes to Roman Reigns. And then another huge one is CM Punk getting his own torso. This is huge as well, and I'm sure that they're going to implement this into other characters. You know, this is something we've talked about for so many years now, that the Daniel Bryan torso, that small torso that they put on guys like Punk, Sami Zayn, Shawn Michaels, The Miz. They used it back in the day for Edge, which I've never thought it worked for Edge. They used it back in the day on Chris Jericho. Never thought it looked good for Jericho. We're finally getting rid of that torso, and they're going to have a brand new torso that looks much, much better, at least on paper. Now, when we get it in hand, maybe it falls through, but I would much rather experiment and see if we can get something new here that's going to be better representation of that and everything like that. And I think, man, this is just the beginning of this, because I think that Roman Reigns' torso and Punk's torso, those are just the first steps, man. They're going to continue to, get new tooling and put more things into that tooling bank for future use. So I think that down the line we could see better, more unique torsos for other characters, not just Roman Reigns and CM Punk to use across the line, but also, your John Cena's or your Cody Rhodes or whoever the hell else, Finn Balor, they're going to give us those ones. And we've already seen this implemented in the Ultimate Edition line, but now they have pulled that over into the Elite line, which I think is absolutely massive. Next up is the new innovations and molds on not only that, but the shoes, man. What about the Jordan 11 sculpt that we're seeing on this Psycho Sid figure that's coming soon as well to the Monday Night Wars line? They're also giving him a gym bag, which is something we haven't seen in so many years, man. I can't even tell you. I don't even know if Mattel's ever done a regular sized duffel bag like that beforehand. I know we've seen them from Jax and things like that. Another great little accessory to throw in there that they could put with other characters for your setups, your feds, your all those different things. You're getting this duffel bag, which I think is great. You're getting the Jordan 11 sculpt, which again could be used on other characters. Maybe they make a promo Roman or something like that. They can throw these boots on there, these feet on there. These are just random things that I'm thinking about. And I think this is a fantastic sculpt to include. It's very, very close to the actual Jordan 11 sculpt. I mean, it looks very similar to the thing, and they're even giving it the paint apps on the figure itself when you look at the render, not just the sculpt. Another long-awaited deal was the Shawn Michael boots, man. The dirt bike boots have been wanted forever from Mattel, and we're finally getting away from the kick pad mold that has been used for legitimately 15 years in the Mattel line for Shawn Michaels. They're finally getting rid of that and giving us a proper, more closely sculpted dirt bike boot into the line here for our Shawn Michaels figures. That is something that we have wanted for years and years. And I know a lot of people, some people aren't going to give a damn about this, but for the collector that pays attention to these things, or they want those details, grasped and implemented into the line, absolutely huge here for the dirt bike boots on Shawn Michaels. That absolutely popped me seeing something like that. You also have the new John Cena Ultimate Edition torso in the upcoming heel John Cena. And also including in this is the attention to detail on the fisted hand, including the Cody watch from the heel turn specifically in that moment. Another just really cool detail to include with the figure, but new Cena Ultimate Torso, tooling a brand new torso, not just giving him the same ugly Ultimate Warrior style torso that we have seen, used over and over and over again. They're going in there, giving us a unique sculpt here. And another one is the innovative Hogan shirt. The innovative Hogan shirt. Now, I don't know what the innovation here exactly is on this, but we did get to see a render of this posted on Instagram by Steve of, the ripped off shirt, which is something they could probably implement in other ways into the line. This is just the first kind of creative use of this that we could possibly see in the future as well, and maybe they can turn this into other things using the same technology. Maybe it won't be a shirt tearing. Maybe it could be something completely different that we don't know about just yet. Maybe I don't even know, but what about like Stone Cold drinking effects or something like that? I'm just throwing stuff out there that's not confirmed or denied. I'm just kind of throwing things out there that maybe creatively they could push later on. Not to mention the AJ mask, the AJ sculpted mask, which is an attire that I really didn't even think about, man. That's something that I completely forgot about. They're going back into the well and pulling out these things, the things that, had passed us before, but they're reaching back into the past and bringing those things forth, like the Seth Rollins WrestleMania 34 attire. We got that in basic form. They easily could have forgotten about this attire forever, but they reached back in the well and they're bringing that back and implementing it with new technology and new sculpts. And amazing as this figure would have been back in the day when WrestleMania 34 took place, or shortly thereafter, I think going back now, getting the updated formula, the updated tech, the all of the different things, the digital print, all these different things really upgrades it even more than it would have been if they released it previously. And it wouldn't have even been on the list because we'd be like, oh yeah, we already got that. So maybe they could do this with the Thanos Seth Rollins gear or any of those other Elite 45 Rollins. That's one that I really want to see them do in an Ultimate form or something like that, is to go back in there or redo the Elite 45. But that's just another one. And then the new women's articulation that looks to be implemented into the line with the Tiffany Stratton figure. If you look at her Ultimate Edition, look at her torso, it looks like they're kind of doing an AEW Unrivaled style articulation like with Jazz wears, where the torso is sitting down in the crotch and you're going to be able to get a better ab crunch, I think. Of course, we'll have to wait till we get the figure in hand, but Ultimate Edition Series 28 should be shipping out not that far into the future, right? I mean, I would say maybe a month or two from now, we should have that figure in hand, and I'm excited to see how that thing's going to pose around, and it does look like something completely new coming into the line. And speaking of things completely new coming into the line, something we've pushed for a long time now is, in our interview with Steve, he talked about the new Legends Ultimate Edition Bray Wyatt. It is going to have some sort of hinge in the neck and allowing you to get that, that full range of motion with the head that we have been trying to get implemented. He said it's going to be like a new disc hinge, which I'm pretty sure is just a ball hinge, if I'm not mistaken. I could have just, it's a ball hinge, a disc hinge, whatever. It's going to add to the articulation and the feel of the figure, which could increase the articulation of all the figures in the entire line. So, my goodness, man, these are just things that I made a list of, and I'm sure there are so many other things that are coming into the line. Now, you may have thought that WWE and Mattel and everything they were making, the Mattel design team, everything they were doing beforehand, before this Comic-Con reveal, that they were already on top of the world. And I think a lot of people would tell you that they were already cooking. But now when you're adding into this tooling bank and you're adding in magic to the equation, and I think that is going to lift the team up so much more. And I think we're really going to enter into this hotbed of just insane wrestling action figures. And I know that we thought about that beforehand, but now I think it's going to upgrade even more. Now, I know we've came kind of out of the depths of the transition of factories, and not everything's perfect. I know that, but it does seem like things are about to uptick in a really great way in terms of details and sculpts and things we've been wanting for a very long time. It seems like that has been approached, and it seems like they're paying a lot more attention to those things. And I don't know, man, it's a great time to be a collector. We've said it for many years, but I think now more than ever, the figures are just about to get ridiculously insane. But I was very impressed with the Comic-Con reveal, as we touched on here before. Just want to give a huge shout out to the Mattel design team with Steve, Magic, and Bill, and everybody over there, the packaging, everybody, man. Everybody over there is absolutely crushing it, and it's a real blessing to, get to cover these figures and talk about them almost every single day, right? And I am just over the moon about it. I think that they absolutely crush it, and I'd love to know what you think about these innovations. What do you think of these new things coming into the line? Of course, there's still many more characters that need to be made. Of course, there's other changes that I would love to see implemented into the line, but this is a great step forward, and I wanted to get on here and just talk about it a little bit because I just wanted to, really praise the team, because it seemed like I don't know, man, if you watch my reviews and you listen to the things that I say in the videos, it seemed like a lot of the things that we talk about a lot have been implemented in this past year or so. So I don't know, man. Makes me excited to see where we go from here. And we'll see, man. I still think that the Cody neck tattoo is a problem. I think that legs can be still stiff right out of the packaging. I do think it's improved, though, from a few months back when it comes to stiff legs. I don't think everything's perfect, but my God, it was a great step in the right direction. I look forward to more stuff here, man. But I just want to get on here, talk about this a little bit here, and really just point it all out and talk about it in its own video. And we still have to cover all these damn Elite figures, man. But I have a lot of figures I got to review. And I'm just my schedule right now is absolutely wiped after getting back from San Diego, man. I'm completely exhausted right now. So I'd greatly appreciate any words of encouragement, leaving the like on the video, man. I'd greatly appreciate it. But that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. A huge shout out to our Patreon members, man. Thank you guys so very much for your support as always. You guys are unbelievable. I appreciate you so very much, more than you'll ever know. But I'm getting the hell out, man. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.